Okay, now we should be on YouTube and on Rumble. I saw Mia. See, I have a lot of people on Rumble. I'm also trying to be on YouTube, so let's see if we hit both. Anybody on YouTube? Okay, I have the guys on Rumble. Just see what happened here. Ah, there we go. Okay. Okay, so I'm gonna start this show. I'm gonna start this broadcast on both channels because I think I have some important information that really needs to be spread as around as much as possible. So we're gonna try, let's see, put it over here. Both channels, see how this goes. There's some advantages. Like one is that we have wrenches on this channel. So if there's certain person shows up on YouTube, we can swat them down. You guys know who that is. So you have wrenches, I believe, on Rumble. So you guys have at it, man. Because there's some important information that needs to be shared, I believe. Oops. Let's see if I can get this. Okay. Anyway, good morning, everyone. Welcome back to our broadcast. Page Rage, Richard Pfizer. I hope I pronounced your name right. Anyway, guys, Ecuador president facing impeachment, embezzlement. Yeah, because he switched over to Bitcoin. Wasn't he the one? Was it Ecuador? Yeah, I think it was Ecuador. Mm, hmm I think it was Ecuador. Okay, so great to see everyone back. Hey, Irish Wilk. And Jill, if you're out there, hello. Hello to Gila, if she's there. Everybody else, spiritual beings here. All right, man. I'm digging some French roast this morning. Check out Spiritual Bean Coffee if you want some good coffee. That's where I get all my coffee. Yeah, thanks, Michelle. Actually, yeah, we're back. We were taken off YouTube for a week. I decided to do this broadcast on YouTube and Rumble because there's a lot, and I don't think I'm going to get into territory that's dangerous. But I think there's like a really important thing going on right now that we should be kind of aware of. That's what I'm feeling. So I'm basing it on a couple of posts that I saw. Let me see if I can bring them up, and
Ian from
let's see if we can bring this up. Okay, let's see. Okay, so here we go. Okay, now I'm basing this my today's thing. First, the thing about General Flynn, we'll get to. Now, General Flynn came out and he said, if you're listening to mainstream news, you're basically going to a not nice place. And I was thinking, like, why would General Flynn say such a thing? Like, if you're watching NBC, if you're watching the mainstream news, you're kind of like out. He said, literally, you will go to the opposite of heaven. Okay, I mean that's pretty extreme. I thought about it. I thought, why would General Flynn, who's fully reliant on God, like the rest of us frogs, why would he say such a thing? It just seems very, very extreme. And I want to put that with towards the rest. The police surrounded his house. Imran Khan, his last tweet for his last arrest. Right. So right. So watching the mainstream media, according to Flynn, is not a good idea. I would also add to that listening to the Patriot media. I would say, a good percentage of the Patriot media is also based on this kind of fear porn that I don't really believe is good for you because, and I'm going to explain why. I think this is a very important concept. This concept came out of I just had a kind of a feeling today. This thing with Whiplash, finding out that Whiplash that he could be a scam artist, and a lot of our intel is based on Whiplash. I mean, we I had a problem with Whiplash in terms of his stance against Israel and the Jewish people and denial of the Holocaust. So in this day and age, good and evil cannot stay together. That's the whole point of where we're coming to. In the Garden of Eden, when the reptile got into our DNA, when the reptile with legs raped Eve and put his DNA in her, and she had two sets of kids. One were more reptilian and one were more human. The reptilians turned into the 13 bloodline families. They turned into the country V near Rome. I'm going to like use nice language until if I get over, I'll, if I feel like I need to go over, I'll just go on to Rumble. But I want to do this on both platforms for today. I want to try this out. So why would General Flynn say this? And and also the idea of good and evil separating with, we see with Whiplash, you cannot be part good and part evil. You're either on one side or the other. And that's really the theme of where I'm going to today is pretty soon, I believe people are going to have to pick a side. They're either going to be remaining in 3D or they're going to go to 5D. I don't think 4D is a place where people can really spend a whole lot of time. I mean, I have a dear friend who's in both worlds, and I think he has a very hard time integrating and being in one world and not in another. I mean, it's kind of we're coming to a point in the history of the world where people have to make a choice. And I want to go back. I want you to remember that in the eighth plague in Egypt, in the Matrix, in Mitzrayim, in the narrow place, in the place of our own constricted, fear-based thinking. The eighth plague was the plague of darkness. And 4/5 of the Jewish people chose to remain in darkness and die rather than be liberated. And I hope that's not the situation today. I'm hoping that everyone will be on the same page, but I just want to kind of give voice to the idea that it's possible we could be coming to a place where you have a clear choice. Like General Flynn said, you can listen to the mainstream media or you can find your information in other places. And I would say the most important place is your own mind, is your own consciousness, is your own thoughts, is your own feelings that come to you, thoughts that come to you. This is where you should be getting your real information. You are directly plugged in. And as you evolve, it will become easier and easier to discern whether a thought is coming from source or whether it's coming from a fear-based sideline, that wants to get you off course. But remember, 4/5 of the Jewish people chose to disappear during the plague of darkness rather than go free, because and that's where I want to go to today. And it involves also Ishmael Perez. He said that there'll be a great splitting on the planet. I believe the other sage that Dorothy Cannon, I think it is, Dorothy Cannon also said that there will be a great splitting on the earth. There will be two earths. So I'm looking out the window. I mean, this is how my thoughts are evolving in this area. I'm looking out the window and I'm seeing people walking on the boardwalk. And I went down to the water yesterday and I met some people. They were very nice, and people are really making the transition. Some of the people are really totally there, and some people are just, they're just trying to get by. They're good people. They're not bad people. But we're coming to a point where people are going to have to make a choice, I believe. And I'm hoping the Rebbe said that everyone will make the right choice, that there will be no plague of darkness, and that everyone will go free. And I hope that's the case. But I think it seems to me that there's a strong possibility that some percentage of mankind, I'm not saying a good percentage, maybe, I mean, they're saying 11% are hardcore leftists, 17%, 20%, that some people will choose to stay in 3D. In other words, they are so immersed in the matrix that they won't be able to really understand what we're talking about. I mean, just like a lot of people don't understand what we're talking about now, it's only going to get more so because now we have the choice to go into 5D, and we can say, I'm not, I don't pay taxes. What, you kidding me? I'm going to pay those guys, and with full conviction, with no fear, people like that are just going to go into 5D. They're not going to have, it's not going to be a problem for them. They're just like, I'm not paying taxes. Why should I pay for them to bore holes in the middle, under the earth, so they can whisk around children and do terrible things to them? I'm not down for that. I'm not doing it. um, and they understand that credit cards are illegal, that birth certificates are illegal, that 99% of the legal structure is fraudulent information, designed to confuse you and make sure that justice is not served. There are people who will go into Jasara Nasara without Jasara Nasara being announced. They will just go into 5D because they're ready. They've done their work. They've worked on themselves. A lot of people are really working on themselves right now. And they'll just reach a point where they're just like, you know what, man, I'm just not down for the fear stuff anymore. I'm just not into it, man. I'm not tuning into mainstream media. I don't want their lies. I'm not going to pay my taxes. I'm not, I mean, there are some places like I had to get a passport to travel out of the country. I mean, there's some places where you have to obey these laws, I guess, for a while. But how much longer is it going to be when you go to the immigration and go like, what are you doing, man? I'm a human being. What are you telling me? I can't go into this place because, because it's a because I need a passport, because I need permission from the government. I need permission for the government to get married to somebody. I need to fill out a form. I need to get a license to get married to the woman I love and adore. Let's say I love a woman and we're totally on the same page, and I'm going to go. I want to go, and now we're going to go make it legal. I'm like, I'm not. I'm not down for that, man. I mean, maybe some woman could convince me that that's the way to go, but after being through 3.5 marriages, I'm just like, why do I need this? It's just, it's not part of love. It's not part of God's law. I mean, there is a religious marriage, and like for me to dissolve the my religious marriage would probably take me just a couple hours. And one day I'll go down there and I'll just say, okay, man, here's your get. We're divorced. We're gone. It's over. That's by Jewish law. This whole satanic structure with the lawyers and the Babylonian language, I'm not down for. But that's a side point. The point is that I believe we're coming to a point where people will have a choice. And the people who choose to stay in 3D are not necessarily evil or bad or even really misled. It's just that they need a little more time in that dimension. And some of us have been through it and we've worked out our issues, and we're like, okay, man, I'm not spending my life's my consciousness on this planet will no longer be involved with whether or not you get your bills paid on. It just, whether or not, it's not, I'm not about that anymore. I'm about, thinking and relaxing. I want to weave this in. My name is Weber, which means weaver. I want to weave this in with what happened to me this morning. This morning, I ordered a new camera because this camera overheats, and it's not really it's not as good as it's not on the quality in terms of a lot of things that I need. And it was a very good camera for many months, and it served me very well. And it's a beautiful camera, but I need something a little more solid. So I've been shopping for a camera, and I found one, and I've been waiting till I had the money for it, and some money came in, and I said, okay, I said to myself, can I really do this? Am I scared? Is it going to be okay? Will I still be able to pay my rent? And I made these kind of calculations, and I thought to myself, okay, the rent is covered. I mean, that's one bill I like to pay. The rent is covered in the electric bill. That's really basically it for me. I I figured, okay, I think I can do this. I mean, it's always a risk. I think I can pull this off. And I really need the new camera. And I'm really about investing in my own enterprise. I'm really about wanting to broadcast in the nicest way possible I want to expand the channel. I'm not ready to say, okay, you know what? YouTube's taking me off 5 times. I'm going home. No, I'm not about that. I'm like, yeah, let's just dig in. Let's just do it a little harder because this is what I'm all about. This is my life's purpose. I have found what Viktor Frankl calls, your divine purpose. And once you find your divine purpose, man, not even, not even evil soldiers can stop you. So I decided to buy the camera, and I filled out all the information. I said, I'll just do this online. It'll take me a second. And I did it. I knew exactly, I had already figured out everything that I wanted, which is just the camera. I don't want the insurance. I don't want the batteries. I don't need any of that stuff. I just want the camera. I don't need lenses. I have a lens, just stripped down, man. Just give me the frame, the body, the camera body. And I filled it out, and I filled out all the information, which I don't like doing, but I did it. I said, okay, look, I need the camera. And then I clicked the buttons, to get to PayPal, and they changed the address of where they were going to send my camera. They were gonna they wanted they suddenly they were gonna send it back to Brooklyn, and then I'd have to deal with my wife. I mean, and it brought out all the fear in me. I mean, in one click, suddenly I was just like, I went from 100% peaceful to 100% fearful and crazed, and I just was like, what am I going to do? They're going to send it to the wrong place, and then I'm going to have to take the train to Brooklyn. It takes me like, it'll be an extra 3 hours to my day. And I won't be able to, do the things that I love to do. And I'll be traveling on the subway all day. And so I press the button for like reset, and B&H is they're very good, and they got it right away. They got the message right away. They sent me an email. They said, "Don't worry, we're going to send it to the right place." But it got me so riled up. It put me back into the fear space, and so I said to myself, "Take a deep breath, start your mantra." I have a mantra. I say, Rabono Shalom, which means Master of the Universe. I just say, Master of the universe. I mean, I say it on the in breath, I say Master, and on the out breath, I say Shalom of the universe. And I just started going to my mantra. I put on a reset your chakra tape, and I said to myself, I'm really hungry. I'm really, really hungry. Let's make a real breakfast today before our broadcast instead of like, grabbing something here and throwing down a few chips here and eating a clove of garlic or something. I mean, let's just sit down, have some eggs, fill your belly, get some protein. Because I know myself, and I know like when I'm in a state where I'm protein deprived. I don't think so clear. I actually put on a carnosone, I think it is called, carnosone patch, because that mellows me. That puts me in a Zen state. I said, you know what, today I need some carnosone, whatever it is. I'll probably have some here somewhere, but I said, okay, I got to take some. I made sure I had my ASEA and all that stuff. I listened to the chakra tape, and I made myself a nice thing of eggs and toast, and it was, and I put in some nice greens and garlic and all kinds of cool stuff, and I made myself a nice breakfast, and I just calmed down. I said, but then I said to myself, that I there were a number of things that needed to be accomplished in the 3D world. I'm soundproofing the studio. I'm getting very serious about what I'm doing, and I'm soundproofing the studio. And I'm getting like I want to get curtains to cut down the reverberation against the window on windows that I'm not using. I'm getting all these dividers. I'm getting all these like foam things for the walls. So I said, let's finish all our 3D work. Let's do, I call it my supply chain. I will spend an hour or two, I make lists, and then I say, okay, now it's time to order the supplies. This is how it works for me, because I'm an old contractor, so I know that like, having the supplies at the right time are very important, and it's better to have it ahead of time, have it sitting there so that when you go, you're ready to do, you feel the energy and you feel the spirit to do something, it's there. So I did a lot of my, not all, but I did a lot of my supply side things. I just said, let's just get it all done, and then we can relax. I mean, I don't know the order of this, but this probably the eggs came at the end after I did all the supply chaining. But I ordered the curtains, I ordered the soundproofing, and it was very anxiety provoking. I don't like doing it. I don't like interacting with the physical dimension. I'd much rather be thinking about, what I'm going to say on the broadcast, or, about, the demise of Whiplash and all this kind of thing. But I decided to, and the demise of, did we find our little friend? Did he come by? Um, I'm out of chips. I'm sorry, Tom. But yeah, man, I'm sorry about the chips, man. I went on a chip run last week. I got 4 bags in the house, so I'm like, listen. I mean, a man can only take so much. I mean, I'm a pretty pure guy. Don't even start with me. No, I'm allowed to have chips once in a while. You don't have to guilt trip me over this. There's nothing wrong with chips, okay? Once in a while, I can have chips. I love chips. You just, go on vacation, man. Why don't you go somewhere? Get a passport and go travel. Does anybody out there want my demon of doubt? I'm really sick of him. I'm willing to give him up. I just like, we need a divorce. Maybe I will get a legal divorce from you. I may not want to go to court for my ex, but for you, man, yeah, we could do this legal style. Let's get it like totally done. Um, but anyway, so yeah, I mean, yeah, chips, man. Yeah, don't get me started. Anyway, yeah, chips. Okay, so here's the thing. So now let me read to you this thing from Trump, and I think this will make sense. And I'm thinking that let's say it's not going to be imperative for you to make a decision in terms of like your life or death. I just have to plug in. Both of my electric devices are needing juice. But I don't think it's a matter of life or death. But I think that for a lot of us, picking one or the other is going to make you feel very comfortable, and it'll be very good, and it'll send you on a pathway that will probably separate you to a large degree to a lot of people that you may have known in the past. Let's say trade them in. I should trade them. Yeah. How about a demon of hope or a demon of I don't know. How about I trade him in for a nice woman, man? You know, with who has no doubts, right? Who doesn't live in fear and doubt. A hopeful woman. I've already started to like envision like what would it look like? What would it feel like to have a woman in my space? And I'm kind of envisioning a woman who's like totally does her own thing and lets me do my own thing. And then, when we meet, we meet. I don't know. I don't know what it is. But anyway, so yeah. Yeah, your time is numbered, buddy. I mean, I'm giving you up completely. When I leave 3D completely, man, you're gone, man. I won't have those episodes in the morning. I won't have to worry about is B&H going to make a mistake and send it to my ex-wife. No way, man. I'll be done with the demon of doubt forever. I'm trading him in for a, you know, whatever. Okay, so yeah, anyway, so I think we're coming to that point, and this is so now I'm going to read this again. We read this last night, but I think it bears, I mean, it seemed a little bit incredible to me when I read it at the time. So I want to read it over because the language is really unusual. Unveiling the unthinkable, Trump's hidden nuclear codes spark chaos and intrigue. Prepare for an earth shattering revelation that transcends the boundaries of imagination. I mean, that is a very strong way of putting something, right? An earth shattering revelation that transcends the boundaries of the imagination. That's powerful. The Trump raid, initially shrouded in mystery, has taken a spine chilling turn, exposing a sinister connection between Trump, nuclear military command, and the coveted nuclear codes. Peel back the layers of secrecy surrounding the events of March 13th, 2020, when Trump cunningly declared a national emergency under the guise of the National Health Act. What appeared to be a strategic move to close down Cheyenne Mountain Military Base was, in fact, a calculated maneuver to tighten his grip on the United States nuclear apparatus. Locked away behind impenetrable walls, the secrets held within the base were guarded by new secure locks entrusted to Trump by the FBI just days before the raid. The raid, I guess they're talking about his house in Mar-a-Lago. Yet the unimaginable happened as the FBI effortlessly breached their own newly installed locks, exposing a gaping vulnerability in the nation's defense. It's a shocking realization. With Trump refusing to concede the election, he remained in possession of nuclear codes, granting him unparalleled authority over the U.S. military's nuclear commands and deployment operations. This unprecedented power play was one of the primary motivations driving the raids, as Biden's administration desperately sought to wrestle control of these elusive codes. To their dismay, the codes were nowhere to be found. Lost within the labyrinth of Trump's classification files lay a treasure trove of classified information connecting Obama, the UN, NATO, and Iran in illicit dealings to advance their nuclear ambitions. These explosive revelations delve into the Biden family's murky connections with China. It doesn't seem to us, I mean, it doesn't seem to me to be that out there, but it is out there. It's not out there by itself. But if you couple that to what we're learning about the deep state, about the charity money that we read about last night, about what they do to children, about the trafficking situation, all this other stuff. I have to remember that I'm on YouTube. We're coming to a place, a point where I mean, I didn't look at well, let me just spend 1 second. Let me just do one thing. So the market is actually up a little bit. I don't know what that's about. I mean, I don't understand it. It was down 300 points. Now it's up a few, like 100 points. The market, but regardless of what the lying market, the market is kind of like the mainstream media. The market's going to tell you what it wants to tell you. But behind the market, the the economy isn't about to collapse. Okay, oh, I just have to answer one thing. The market is not about to collapse. Let's see if I can get this. Um, okay, the market isn't about to collapse. The market isn't maybe going to collapse. The market is dead. The market, the economy is toast. It's been toast for a long time. It's a ghost. It's just a ghost. It's like the people on the boardwalk walking around thinking in 3D, thinking about their reality, thinking about how they're going to get pay their bills, living in fear. It's not real. It's complete phony, fake nothingness. It's they're in the matrix. They're in a movie. They're somewhere other than reality. The economy is there's nothing holding. It's just maybe a band-aid's holding it. I don't even think that there's anybody who really understands anything about economics, which I really don't. I'm not a big, but I've been studying it for a couple of years. There's nothing there. There's no economy. The fiat currency, there's nothing. It's monopoly money that we're all agreeing to pay. Your credit card debts, your mortgage, your car payments. We're playing monopoly. We're playing a game, a board game. It's not real. I mean, at any moment, somebody could walk in the room and just say, I'm tired of you guys playing, and throw the board up in the air. That's how easy this thing is going to come down. It's literally a house of cards. It's not even a house of cards. It's it was gone. It's been gone for years. And that's kind of what I'm saying. And I can't really describe this in words, but I get the feeling that like the whole world is kind of like ghosting. The whole world is on this like, okay, they're just going ahead as if nothing has happened. They were just okay. I'm on the boardwalk. I'm going out on the beach. I mean, it's just like I'm going to work. I'm gonna got to be home for to take my kid to soccer practice. I mean, it's gone, man. In terms of like if you're in like the thought stream. I'm not saying that I'm such an evolved dude or anything, but I've been given the opportunity to spend all day thinking. And if you're thinking and if you're reasoning and if you're receiving thoughts, I believe directly from the creator, and I'm not talking about like huge visions. I'm just talking about, like this morning, I just said, you know, we're at a fork in the road here. That didn't come from, I'm such a smart guy. I figured out we're at a fork in the road. No, it was downloaded into my brain by who knows what, by God. I like to think of it as God, that we're literally at a fork of road, and the worse it gets in terms of the storm, we are in the storm. The information is pouring out. You can't deny it. You can't just look the other way. You can't say, well, I'll turn to MSNBC and maybe and they do. They will supply you with misinformation. They will lie to your face. So that's the choice. And that's what General Flynn said. He said, if you choose to go to these media stations, I don't know if I have it here. I don't think it was on this channel. Well, let me see if I can find that post, because it's pretty out there. I mean, it's pretty direct. I think it was from, let's see. Yeah, I think I can go to um not Megan, but to Kay. I think Kay Happenings would have something like that. Let's see if I can find her. I'm sure she would post that. I'm sure it's on our Intel channels too. I just, yeah, here we go. Here, let's see if she has it. I'm sure she has it. It's the kind of thing she would post. Okay, so here it says Trump says he'll bring back Michael Flynn if he's reelected over the weekend. Over the weekend? No, if he's reelected. Over the weekend, former President Trump said he would bring back his former national security advisor, Michael Flynn, if he wins another 4 years in the White House. The Daily Hodl, the U.S. government may freeze American bank withdrawals as currency panic and capital flight mounts. Macro guru. Okay, it's 911 days from Friday, November 13th, 2020 to and including Friday, May 12th, 2023. We're already on May 17th. Developing. Prince Harry, Meghan spokesman says couple involved in near catastrophic car chase. I don't, I don't see this post. I'm disappointed in my abilities to figure out who has what because I spend enough time on Telegram that I should know. But I'm really losing faith in my. Here it is. Okay, here's the post. Turn the mainstream media off. That means all cable, all major networks, ABC, CBS, NBC. They are all liars and thieves. Do not listen to your news anymore. If you want to watch your favorite sports team, fine, but there are other ways to watch them these days. The collusion and conspiracy to destroy people, a president of the United States, and the fabric of our very country is very, very real. I have to watch it now. I'm not going to read the rest because I'm still on YouTube. But these people are not normal. Okay, so if you continue to watch any news on these networks, I will pray for your condemned souls because you will get what you deserve: a plate of lies and one-way ticket to hell. Independent media is rapidly rising and on the move. Choose wisely, but choose America. Nice. So that's from General Flynn. Let me just put a look at this other thing. The mainstream media is the enemy of the people. It's time to start getting your news from independent journalists who are beholden to no one and have no agenda other than the truth. Okay? All right. So that means that we have a choice. And that's what this realm, that's what this planet is all about. It's about freedom of choice. It's the only place in the galaxy, apparently, where beings are given a choice. So we have a choice. I can't, there's some weird stuff on, we have a choice. And it's going to become more clear to us and harder for us to deny that we have a choice. We can do like General Flynn says, or we can ascend into higher dimensional aspects. At any rate, okay, so that's really it. I just think that we're coming to a fork in the road, and that we should all be aware. I see ships in the clouds. God is so creative. Yeah, Gila sees them too, and Colin. I also see them. Flynn is 1,000 points of light guy. Yeah, we're moving into a new age. That's the bottom line. And not everyone is going. Not everyone even knows it's happening. Most people don't. But we know about it. We know what's going down. So you can choose. We can choose. I'm choosing, man. I've already made my choice. I'm not going back. I don't have any ties back there. I've left. The only thing that keeps me tied in is I want to settle my lawsuit against the city. I want my money back. But that it's quite possible that money won't mean anything anyway. So, you know, at the end of the day, it's really God's thing. Okay, so here's something about Tesla. Money money is the real poison for our society. The world could have gone wireless before it was wired. This is from Nikolai. If they had taken Tesla seriously, he had a way to go wireless. FDA updates warnings on all stimulants for ADHD, other conditions. New language emphasizes potential for misuse, abuse, addiction, and overdose. That's after they get the world addicted to everything. That now they're going to tell us what's really going to happen to you. I mean, Ecuador guy is getting impeached. NORAD detects military aircraft in the Alaskan Air Defense Identification Zone. Train passengers heading to Vienna shocked when instead of the usual overhead announcements, a recording of AH from World War II, the little guy with the mustache, and some kind of music from that era was blasted on the train to Vienna. Okay, breaking news. This is important. Breaking news: Mexican cartels launch terror attacks guided by the three-letter agency that starts with C and BO. Prepare for shocking revelations as Mexican cartels unleash terror attacks on U.S. soil. Let me just take one thing. I have to do one. I'm taking one quick detour. That's weird. Okay. Let me just do one thing here. Um, okay, thanks. So, prepare for shocking revelations as Mexican cartels unleash terrorist attacks on U.S. soil with alleged guidance from the three-letter agency and the BO regime, now under JB. Over the weekend, two terrifying incidents, Rock, Texas. Okay, so this is just the latest development aligns with previous warnings from insightful individuals who foresaw the cartel's plans to sow chaos in the U.S. using immigrants and gangs. Now the chaos has arrived, concluding the end of Title 42. Behind the scenes, the Mexican cartels are fully aware that President T and the military are closing in on them. His firm stance on sending military operations into Mexico to dismantle them has rattled their foundation. Startling connections between them and the three-letter agency that starts with a C, involving trafficking, things that hurt people, trafficking, right, and laundering and all that good stuff. The gun smuggling operation under BO was just the tip of the iceberg. However, there's a glimmer of hope amidst the chaos. Military intelligence, under the guidance of President T, has been monitoring these activities since the days of Georgie H.W.B. Their silent operations against the cartels, including data seizures and disrupting their financial holdings, are already underway. The White Hats, consisting of Mr. T, the military, and a Mexican based alliance of like minded individuals, are orchestrating a strategic plan to dismantle the cartel CIA regime setting the stage for justice to be restored. Buckle up for the intense journey ahead as events unfold, potentially leading to a near death experience for the United States. Dark times may lie ahead with civil unrest, economic turmoil, and widespread chaos. However, within the chaos, a glimmer of hope emerges, a chance for the military protocols to restore justice and bring down the oppressive regime that has plagued both Mexico and the US. So stay vigilant as the storm rages on. I have to check back. There's something that I need to see. Okay, let me just take this. And if you're on, there are two. I made a mistake on on YouTube, and I put if I just took you off YouTube, I'm sorry. You have to get back on. I made a mistake when I streamed it. At any rate, the long and the short of all this is that we're coming into very interesting times, and that nothing can stop what's coming. And where we go one, we go all is true of the direction that you choose. You choose. We have choice on this planet, and I believe. And this is not like a hard. I'm not saying this in a what we call musar in Judaism, which means like, oh, if you don't do this, you're a sinner. If you do that, I mean, it's like everybody has to do their own accounting. I mean, if you're on this channel, I already know what you've chosen, but I think that we have to be aware and conscious that it's possible. Now, I'm hoping that everyone leaves Egypt, that everyone leaves the matrix. Everybody after the near death civilization event, we all come together and we all make a new world, a beautiful new world that of light and happiness and children and laughter and hope and nature and technology being woven together. That's what we're coming to either way. For us, we're heading in that direction. It's just we want everybody else to come with us, and it's possible. It could be possible. I'm just saying, and I just wanted to lay this out. It could be possible that there's a certain segment. I mean, there is going to be at least, there is some kind of segment out there that just don't get it. They're never going to get it. They are firmly entrenched. They are I shouldn't really say this because I was a flaming lib back in the day, man. I was I was out there, and somehow I was guided into finding a better way of understanding the situation. So I think there's really hope for everyone, even me. But yes, who asked you? I really need to trade him in, man. Anybody want a nice demon of doubt, man? He's very cuddly. He'll hang around with you as much as you let him. He he's pretty easy to take care of. You just have to feel guilty and shameful a lot, and it'll make him really happy. He doesn't need bones. He just needs shame. I'm not really into it so much anymore. I don't really I don't really enjoy the shame. I really don't like it at all, actually. And that's why he's kind of out of sorts. But maybe we'll get lucky. Move on. And I'll get a beautiful woman that's really hopeful and understands that we're in 5D right now, and we transcend together into blissful. Here comes a new post. Okay, so the Qatari billionaire who wants to buy Manchester United made an extraordinary 11th hour take it or leave it offer to the club on Tuesday evening. I could care less. It's May 17th. Iraq votes on a new budget. Ecuador president, we knew all this. Imran Khan, they're about to kill him unless a major revolt happens in the next few hours. People must act. I don't think that's a good solution to do to somebody who the people really love. I don't think that's really such a great idea. Elon Musk told David Farber the suppression of the computer from HB was was selection interference. The White House says a guy with a mask spoke at 10:45 a.m. this morning about the debt ceiling. The chief executive of America's largest oil port unexpectedly resigns. The CEO of Port of Corpus Christi in Texas has unexpectedly resigned this week, providing no reasons for the move. He's probably taking a nice trip down the Gitmo River. All right, so I mean, I think that really sums it up. I hate to end short, but I think, yeah, let's just go through this again. Buckle up for the intense journey ahead as events unfold, potentially leading to a near death experience for the United States and the world. Dark times may lie ahead with civil unrest, economic turmoil, and widespread chaos. However, within the chaos, a glimmer of hope emerges, a chance for the military protocols to restore justice and bring down the oppressive regime that has plagued Mexico for decades. Stay vigilant as the storm rages on. We are in the storm, so just expect things to be a little out of whack, man. Don't be freaked out by it. Just be like, what happened? What did you say happened? Wait, I'll tell you. Hold it. Let me just take a few more deep breaths, and we'll talk about it. She said something happened. I'm not saying be an escapist. I'm not saying like we put our nose in the sand, but think with your heart and dance with your mind. If you have to do a lot of 3D things, do like I do and just do it all at once. I can't string it out. I used to say like, okay, I'll order it. I'll do this. Okay, I'll do this. I'll do that. I'll do it. I used to weave it into my day. Now it's like, okay, I'm making my list. During the week, I make my list, and then I sit down. I say, okay, now I'm going to come into 3D dimensions. I'm going to come into the physical world. I'm going to make my orders. I'm going to get on, I'm going to go on the internet. I'm going to find out what I need. I'm going to actually order it so I don't have to think about it anymore. And I don't think about it. I write things down. If you don't want to think about something, write it down. If you have to meet somebody at 4 o'clock and you're thinking all day long, you're thinking, I got to meet somebody at 4 o'clock. That's not called using your mind correctly. You write it down on a piece of paper, stick it in your shirt pocket or in your back pocket, a place you're going to really look at it. And you say, oh, yeah, that's right. 4 o'clock. Yeah, I got to go meet somebody. So you're not thinking about these details. That's not what the mind is for. That's for, you put it on your calendar. The mind is for connecting to source, connecting to creativity, for getting downloads of information about what's really going on in your life. Because more and more, I can't find it on Telegram. Now with the removal of Whiplash as a credible source, we're like left with really, at the end of the day, we're really left with our own instincts, our own heart, our own downloads. And that's a good thing because that's where we're heading, man. We're heading for that. We're not going to need a news source, be it patriot or non-patriot. And the news source has to be totally in the light. You can't play around anymore. You can't hate one group of people and still say you're a white hat and be ripping people off with crypto scams. I mean, you can't do it, man. I mean, I don't know, I don't know about Emily. I mean, I don't know, this Jason Q and all these people that deny the Holocaust. And then they're saying, okay, we're totally honest with you. You can't mix and match anymore, I don't think. Anyway, that's my lesson. We stayed on both channels the whole time, which is pretty impressive. We have 282 people on Rumble and we have 400 people on YouTube. And, more, I'm going to, if I can bring my consciousness into this kind of like middling place where, like, today I felt like it was kind of a message that, I could use both platforms. But sometimes if I really need to like speak my mind, I'll just say, okay, man, let's go to Rumble today, because I can't, I got some things to say, and I can't like make it pretty. It's got to be said. Like Mio said, she had to unleash some of her pent up thought structures that have to be released. Anyway, I'm going to be back in a half hour with Dr. David Silverman, who is an amazing guy. And I mean, I spent time with him in Utah, and I just want to tell you the story that I got there, and they didn't really understand that I really only eat kosher food. And so we all went out to like a barbecue place, which is like the antithesis of kosher. And I said, I'm okay, man. I'll get something in the morning. I can fast. I mean, you ever read the book Siddhartha? Siddhartha is like the Buddha, really. He is the enlightened one, and he says during his journey to become enlightened, somebody says like, well, what can you do? I mean, he's a shaman, he's a I forget what they call him. He lives in the forest, man. He lives off nuts and berries, right? And he comes into the city, he sees a woman, and he decides he wants to know what it's like to be with a woman. And I don't recommend this. Don't try this trick at home, guys. But I used to think that I mean, yeah, you know the story. Anyway, he decided he wanted to be with Kamala. Her name is Kamala in the book, Kamala. And so he comes in, the shaman, with a loincloth, and he says, okay, I want to buy some clothes. I want to be a businessman now. They say, well, what can you do? He says, well, I can fast and I can wait. I think those are the two things he says. I can fast and I can wait. Those are his skills. And, from those skills, he becomes a very successful businessman, and he has a long-standing affair with Kamala, and they have a child together. I love Herman Hesse's novels. I mean, they really. I mean, probably would have not be here today if it wasn't for Herman Hesse, because Herman Hesse understood like my kind of mind. It was like he was the only friend I had for several years. It was like the only person who I could really relate to. Some of his books, like I think it was Damien or Steppenwolf. I think it was really Damien that just like got me through some very difficult periods. I mean, Siddhartha is a beautiful piece, but it's kind of classic. It's kind of it's not as nuanced as Damien, which I recommend. But this idea that that I can fast. So anyway, so I got to Utah, and I'm like, "Look, don't worry about it, David. I mean, I'm okay. I can't eat this food, but I can fast." He was like, "No," he says, "No," and he drove me to the grocery store, and he got me food. He made sure I had the kimchi. Saved my life. Kimchi and sardines is my go-to, travel food when I can't get regular kosher food. But anyway, I'm just saying that he's a really stand-up guy, and he saved his father with ASEA. I mean, he literally saved his father's life. So he gave up his practice as a surgeon, and he helps people understand the benefits of this miraculous product. So I'm going to be on with him. I'm going to have an opportunity to hang out with him at 12:30 today. So I'm going to end this like now, and please join us there. We didn't get to have a business meeting last night. Dr. Stacy had problems with her Zoom channel. Again, I'll be back at 7:45, and tomorrow is Thursday. If you join Patreon and through Patreon, I don't even think you have to put in any money to it. But if you go through that channel, I think we're just trying to get your email address or something. But I don't really. I'm not privy on all the structures that are working behind the scenes. But if you can get onto school and you go to the calendar, you'll be able to join a Zoom meeting. If you've ever wanted to like just hang out with me and show yourself and talk to me, where I mean, I don't talk very much on the Zoom meeting. I talk all the time, but if there are things that you want to tell me, come to the Zoom meeting and and tell me. Tell the community what you want to say. I mean, we have really nice, we meet each other. I've made some really nice like long-term friendships on the Zoom meeting. I've met some nice people that I keep in contact with. So, please join us. That's Thursday at 5 o'clock. All right, so I will see you in 25 minutes. I'll be back with Dr. David Silverman, and then and Jay, and then I'll see you guys at 7:45. But we're coming to a fork in the road. I mean, meaning if you're on this channel, if you're listening to my voice, if you understand some of our ideas, and not my ideas, these are our ideas, that you will, I think that it could be that right now, as the chaos is about to get really more and more pronounced, you will really start to work on ascension in a more full-time basis. You'll be working on ascension all the time because the news is going to throw you off. And that's why maybe that's another reason why General Flynn said, just stay away from the news right now. Focus, ascension. Just know that we're coming into 1,000 years of grace, of goodness, of light and happiness, and good and evil are separating. You can't say you're the united and be trafficking little ones. It can't get away with it anymore. That the time for that is over. We're coming into an era of the Aquarian age, the age of light. We're coming into a second Woodstock, really. We're coming into a second hippie fest, I believe, but it'll be a hippie fest with rules, with godly understanding, not just like wild drugs and sex rocks and whatever, but it'll be like, we're really building a beautiful world. You'll build houses that like with waterfalls inside them and gardens on your roof, and it's just going to be amazing. No wires, no more wires, free, 0 point energy, and cures, and you'll be a lot younger, and you'll have to deal with being incredibly handsome and having to fend off girls in the subway who are constantly throwing their phone numbers in my direction. Yeah, just relax, man. I'm joking. You really think a girl is gonna? You really? Oh my God, he's Nudnik. All right. Anyway, we'll see you guys in a couple. We'll see you in a half hour, and just have a great day. And thanks for letting me speak and humoring me and my buddy, the Demon of Doubt. All right. See you later.